Let's bring in retired U.S. Army Major Mike Lyons for more on this. Major Lyons, thanks so much for coming on. What's your reaction to President Trump's clear frustration with not only Iran, but Israel here?
He's frustrated, but I don't think he set a very good expectation. Last night, announcing a ceasefire without any message from Israel or Iran was somewhat confusing. We've never seen that before. I mean, we've got it already marketed as the 12-day war. So I think he's way out in front of his skis. I mean, we don't even talk to Iran. So I'm not even sure how that how that went down. I know it went down through Qatar and through intermediaries there. But this ceasefire was always going to be shaky to begin with. Number two, it's not in Israel's best interest right now to do a ceasefire, frankly. They have the Iranians on the ropes. And from their perspective, they want regime change. They're not overtly saying that, but that's very clear. And I think the only way that does get solved, frankly, is if Israel accomplishes its objectives.
Now, the president said definitively he believes Iran is still committed to peace. When asked about Israel, he didn't really answer directly. He pointed to the fact that they just violated the ceasefire. What do you make of that, especially given what you're saying, that Israel maybe doesn't have the incentive to try to broker a peace deal right now?
Yeah, I'm not sure how he knows anything what Iran thinks. They just will do anything, say anything right now to stop fighting, to stop being attacked. And I think that's what the president wants. I think it's his whole vision about having peace. But Iran has been an enemy of the United States for 47 years. I just don't see how they flip a switch and all of a sudden decide that they want to be friendly to the United States. Israel has started this campaign October 7th. They're on a war footing. They've eliminated all of Iran's proxy forces. Now is the time, from a military perspective, to push this mission forward. So I'm surprised he scolded Israel about this. I bet you Israel now is going to go undercover Mossad. They're going to still work very deeply inside of Iran to try to upset the regime there.
Now, the president's warning Israel not to drop any more bombs. He's literally saying, bring your pilots home. What happens if they don't?
They probably won't. I think that they'll pay attention to what the president wants for right now and wait for the Iranians to do something, and they might. We'll see how that goes. But that's not going to stop Israel from, again, commandos, potentially ground forces. They're going to still work to undermine the regime any way they possibly can. So I think for the next, let's say, 48 hours, Israel will be a good soldier to the United States and probably obey what the president says. But at some point, Israel's going to act in its own best interest. And if they think they can go after the supreme leader, for example, I think they will.
What's the biggest barrier to peace right now? Do you think they need regime change in Iran for Israel to agree to anything?
Yeah, it's culture. It's the Iranian regime is just not, they're not changing their stripes. I mean, the great Satan and the little Satan, between their hatred for the United States and Israel, that I don't see how that changes culturally. I see this regime possibly trying to leave, and there must be a revolution taking place right now. So, for example, Israel has been attacking center of gravities of the regime, the Republican Guard units. The army in Iran is going to determine the future of the country, because if the supreme leader goes, and if that leadership is gone, then the military will have the most power. They'll be able to control the streets, and I think that's where Israel is working hard right now to make sure they control that.
The results of regime change aren't always great, especially as of late. How do you try to oversee that, whether you're Israel, the U.S., or other world leaders who have plenty of interest in this? If regime change happens in Iran, how do you make sure that they continue to have a functioning state?
So from the United States perspective, this is different. Didn't make the same mistakes we made the last two times deploying large troop formations to the Middle East. This time, we let our ally lead the way here. We let other countries within the region, Saudi Arabia. This is a unique moment within history. You have Syria not aligned with Iran. Iran is completely isolated. I think you'll see other countries get involved. And you're right, regime change could go very poorly. But if it does, Israel will continue to fight against who that regime is. It's 90 million people. There's not saying it's going to be easy. But you saw regime change happen in the 70s the same way.
All right, Major Mike Lyons, we appreciate it as always. Thank you.